Should males and females train differently? And what's the difference in between training males and females? I'm a personal trainer who has its own studio, and I've been working with various clients for the last 4 years. So today I want to break down what's the difference between training males and females and how they should train, and even if there is any difference. So, what's the main difference in between males and females when it comes to strength training? There's quite a few things. So males have a lot more muscle mass in their upper bodies, while like in comparison to females, while females have a little bit more like mass in the lower body. That's due to how we are built. That's so the females can give birth. And it does vary from person to person. There's like different shapes. Some females have like narrower hips and smaller legs, while others have much wider hips and very tiny torso. So it all depends from person to person basis. And when it comes to training, if we take females, males, and females, like one thing that we definitely need to look at is training volume. So, for example, males can tolerate a lot more physical labor, and that's due to many reasons. Like I said, there is more like males generally have more muscle mass, especially more in an upper body. Males have been doing more physical jobs, which means that they're used to moving a lot more and lifting things. But don't get me wrong, like it varies from person to person, and it depends like on the job you do and all things like that. So when you're training, for example, males can be a lot more consistent throughout the month in terms of their training. So, for example, my day-to-day feeling will depend as a male, will depend on how well I slept, how hydrated I am, how much I ate, and how much I trained in the past. So my training can be a lot more planned, and I can progressively overload a little bit more as a male. While females have menstrual cycles in the month, and based on where you are in menstrual cycle will define how well you feel. So one day or one week you will feel amazing through the training, and another day you will feel absolutely like shit. So what happens during that period of time, you have to still train, but you have to adjust your training volume. So maybe you've been expecting to do 10 kilo shoulder presses this Monday, but your period is about to come and you're very low in energy. So that means that you may have to drop that to 7 kilos and still go through the movement. While as a guy, if I had 10 kilos planned, I can do those 10 kilos this Monday, next Monday, and the Monday after. So my training will not depend on like on my menstrual cycles, unless I'm very modern male and um, I transition from female or something like that. But uh, let's leave that because I don't want to upset any people. Um, so yeah, that's one of the main differences that males and females need to look at is the training volume. But when it comes down to actual physical training, I did mention that females have a little bit more muscle mass in their lower body. So does that mean that males should train more upper body and females should train lower body more? Well, not quite. It's actually the opposite. I think if you are like genetically having a weakness somewhere, you should be training that area a little bit more, because what I noticed from my career, that females that I'm working with, they are a lot more often dealing with upper body problems like neck pain, shoulder pain, and generally like back pain. Back pain can come from poor mobility in your upper body, poor strength around your core. And if you think about it, like when you're training upper body doing a shoulder press, all your core has to stabilize. So it's not that you're only training upper body. So females generally also how the shapes are built, they're focusing on building their glutes and their bum, while males want to build some guns. And what that normally what normally that leads to is that one is stuck in front of the mirror during biceps curls, and another one is stuck on uh, hip thrust trying to build that bum. And There's nothing wrong with that, but if you're doing the same thing and you're neglecting some parts of your body, males generally neglect their legs, while females neglect their upper body. You can just have issues, imbalances, and weakness in different areas of the body. Like, for example, why I absolutely hate that males don't want to train lower body is that if you look at your lower body, they're massive muscles, like your legs, your glutes, your torso, like they're massive muscle groups. And when you stimulate them, that results in a little bit more testosterone secretion from your body because that's the stimulus that you're providing. And by doing like legs, technically secrete more testosterone, more growth hormone in your body. So the rest of your body will grow a little bit more if you have like a very balanced training routine. And for females, like the same thing, like you don't want to have like every female wants to have like fairly toned arms. They don't want to have what they call bingo wings, where these parts are hanging off. And that's, to be honest, one of the most frequent issues that ladies telling me when we start training. Oh, I don't like my bingo wings. But then when it comes down to training upper body, they're also like, oh, I don't want to get butch. So don't worry, getting butch takes years. I mean, I've been lifting weights for a decade, and I mean, yes, I'm in physical shape that most people would want to be, but I'm still far from that. And I know that I should probably lift more weights. So getting butch is not that easy, because if it would be that easy, we would have 60% of UK population who's butch rather than overweight. Because so don't get scared thinking that going to the gym will make you butch as a lady, and as guys train the legs. So when it comes to training programs, let me be honest, I don't differentiate. And over here on the board there's small print where we have like training programs that I design. So I don't differentiate training programs between males and female. I would just adjust on what I see on the day. If I see that, let's say, Susie comes in for training and she's not feeling very well, that's quite easy to notice. When you get to know the person, you see that they're not moving that well. So you know that you need to drop the training volume a little bit and maybe get her to lift lighter weights. And that's no different to a male. If he had a shit night's sleep, busy meetings, like whatever, like had to deal with some crisis at home, you would have to adjust the training load with that as well. So it's more about monitoring people when they come in and how they feel through the session, and then you push them accordingly. But when it comes to the whole programming, there's not that much difference. And I know, like, whole internet, it's amazing at marketing. I'm a menopause coach. I'm a coach for high performing chefs. This is all nonsense. Let me be real. Like, this is all marketing, because that's hitting us into like behaviors that we feel like we belong to a certain group of people. But if you see, for example, my training programs, and I know one guy who specializes in training MMA coaches, the programs, like the strength and conditioning programs, they're not that much different, because fundamentally our bodies are meant to move in a certain way, and we should be moving like in the way that our body is meant to. So it means like lifting free weights, squatting all the way down, jumping, sprinting, throwing things, doing some higher intensity cardio, then doing some low intensity cardio. But when it comes to gender, the training will not different. What differs is marketing. And look, I'm no different. I do the same thing to attract the clients, because that's how human psychology works. That's marketing. That's how we're trying to get people in through the door. But when it comes down to actual programming, it's not that different. So you don't look at either male or female at the training, you look at individual, and you make decisions on how to train them based on that. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with what I just said, and watch this video because YouTube thinks that you will enjoy it. Right, see you in the next one.